Hey, welcome back guys. A little bit of a gear review video today. We're talking about the Streamlight TLR-7 HL-X. The TLR-7 HL-X by Streamlight, a decent weapon light, and I've had it for, let's call this the 6,000 round review. 6,000 round review. The reason it is not on the gun right now is because this thing has broken. So as we can see here, there should be a cross bolt in there. And it is not there, it is gone. And we can see how that has sheared off right there. So I would imagine it had some kind of a stress fracture and then eventually, well, just snapped off under use. It was at about roughly 6,000 rounds. It didn't track that directly, but it's a strong and confident guesstimate. 5,000 to 6,000 rounds on this before it has damage. So let's watch the video on that of when it actually fell off. We'll do that right here. Oh wow, well, I guess I gotta keep going. Crap. I knew something fell off. I should have kept going with the reload. Now, one thing about these weapon lights is that they are integral to being able to holster or to maintain retention in a holster. So this is, I should know this, the Ragnarok, set up in a QLS fork to go on my speed belt. And of course this would, with the weapon light, it would hold the gun in there. It clamps around it, basically holds it in there. I do have this backup holster without weapon lights in a QLS speed fork for situations like this. Anyway, this weapon light, we want to try to fix this. Now I can just buy a new one, okay? I could send it into Streamlight and maybe they would replace it, maybe not. I could also probably poke around on the internet and find a replacement part, even if it's Streamlight or third party replacement for that cross bolt, that screw. Also, I have some other stuff laying around under here. So this is a TLR RM2. Now, I don't even know exactly what this is for, but I got it in a pawn shop for a very cheap price. I don't know what it was. 40 bucks for this thing. Maybe RM means rifle mount. I don't know. But that cross bolt might work. I will point out, this, I don't know how well you can see that, but as little as I've used that, I've already marred up that piece right there. That is strange. Trying to tighten it. So with a flathead screwdriver, it's still kind of rounded, kind of beveled in there. And so I have a quarter, and that, I don't like how weakly that grips in there. I have a dime. It's a little bit better, but either way, I don't like that. Actually, while we're at it, check this out. So here's an old TLR-7, and that is pretty marred up. I barely use that, but look how marred up that cross bolt is just from putting it on and off a few different times. Now, one could make the argument that you should buy the right light for the gun, put it on there, and leave it. I'm not saying that's a bad argument, but as we have restless pistol syndrome, or whatever you want to call that, we do tend to want to move things around and find the better options. Also, once you get into something, it's tough to upgrade everything all at once. Sometimes you'll want to upgrade incrementally, and that's, well, I guess that makes sense for a lot of people. So let's try this. We'll thread this off. And sometimes there's a little spring in there. Yep, there is. You can see there's a little spring right there. I think that's fine. And we'll run this back over. Oh man, so I got, oh crap. So that's gonna need to work its way out. I didn't think of that. Wonder if I have. Wonder if this will be enough to do it. Oh, look at that. How easy that was. Good. That's why you should always have a Leatherman on you or something. Multi-tool. I'm not going to endorse any particular brand, right? So, let's see. Okay. Well, at the moment, it looks like that's going to work. Obviously, it means that this weapon light's not available for use now, but I still should try to I should buy more, replacement parts for that. So let's check this out. There we go. Okay, so even that is slipping just a little bit. It's tough to get a good, just kind of out of curiosity's sake while we're here. Let's see if I can find a better drill bit, not drill bit, what do you call it? Bit. Let's do this. Better screwdriver bit. So we can see that's a little bit narrower. I grabbed a narrower bit for that. I don't know if that's picking up in the light. Now, it means I have a little bit less torque and less surface area. Well, I guess I don't know if I have less surface area. Same amount of surface area on this, maybe. And that feels secure. I don't feel a wobble in there. Okay. Here's a quick little tip. To reduce the carbon buildup, or I should say, to make it easier to clean up that carbon off the tip of your weapon light, put some grease, some like gun grease, basically, on the end of it. Swab it around on there. You don't have to be super thick, because it's going to, refract the light off of it as it goes through there. But this is pretty good. Putting that on there just makes it easier to wipe off. Maybe I'll do a separate video on that, or maybe this was a separate video right here. So this is now out of service, but it was basically already out of service. Again, I had this holster as a backup just in case. But now I can go back to this TLR-7 holster, and now it means that this gun will fit again in this holster as well. So, lastly, I'll mention that if you already have the Streamlight TLR-7 original, TLR-7A, or TLR-7X, those are decent weapon lights, and all of those are going to fit all the same holsters just fine, except for the TLR-7 HL-X. HL-X is a little bit longer, so you have to get new weapon lights for that. You have to get new holsters for that. But if you just go right to a TLR-7 HL-X, you can still backwards compatible those other weapon lights in the same holsters, and it's no problem. Now, lastly, I'll just show that if you do that, so here is a TLR-7 HL-X with a regular, whatever size lens, and that does fit in this, but you can see that obviously there's extra gap there. And so it's a little bit of wasted space depending on how frugal you want to be and efficient you want to be with your holster size. So I think that's enough for now. I'm glad that I was able to get this working again, but I will definitely need to get some more replacement parts for this. And I might think twice about getting another one of these. It is kind of a little bit surprising that it damaged for me. All right, that's it for now.